You're listening to DraftKings Network.
This is the Dan Batard Show with the Stugotz podcast.
Domonique started the show with a really emotional plea on behalf of thinking of basically what would Dan do. Yeah, it was. It wasn't a plea. It was a reflection upon what makes this show so special and important to Dan, and what makes us the trustees of something that we should take seriously. And I bring that up now because you're just on your phone scrolling.
I'm not scrolling. Thank you, ESPN. I asked them for the opportunity to come down here, and they...
A plea?
Yeah, that was a plea. It's considering what's happening in our industry and considering, like, Dan's relationship with the network and all that stuff. They understood the circumstances and were fine with me coming down here. So
yes.
Thank you to
Genuinely.
them. Yeah, no.
Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I'm happy to be able to do this for a friend. And what I was saying earlier, and the reason why I'm on my phone right now is...
Yeah, not paying attention, mostly just scrolling.
Is because I'm doing the job that I actually get paid for. Like, I don't get paid for this, guys. Actually, I am paying for this because I pay for my own hotel, pay for my own flight, been feeding myself since I've been down here.
Dinner.
Yeah, pay for all your dinners. But the job that does pay me allowed me to do this is at ESPN, and I do a podcast there, and I'm promoting it right now. I'm putting up posts from the interview I did yesterday.
So you're just going to privately just post and promote another show while you're on this show with me?
It was private until you made it public. And
Can we make some of it public?
Yeah, I got clips. I was hoping to. I talked to Kurt Warner yesterday, and he's a great guy and a smart quarterback, man. Can you do something so I can send out this promotion?
Do we have this video? Can we help Domonique?
So, yeah, I was playing arena football at the time, and obviously just... waiting for an opportunity to get another chance to compete in the NFL. So the Bears called me up and asked if I would come in for a tryout. And I was like, yeah, I'm in. Any day you tell me when, I'm there. And so, I got off the phone and I go running into my wife to tell her, how excited I am. I'm, going in for a tryout this Friday. And, she just gave me kind of this funny look, like she's just staring at me. And I'm like, why are you not excited? Like, this is what we've been waiting for forever. And she's like, we're getting married on Saturday. And I was like, oh, yeah, forgot. I had to obviously reach out to the Bears and go, okay, can't do it this week, but any other day, I'm in. So we worked it out for the following week. I'm like, honey, got it worked out. I'm going to try out for the Bears next week. She gave me that look again. She's like, we're going to Jamaica for our honeymoon, dude. Like, come on, man. Call the Bears back. Once again, whenever, I am in. The last night that we're in Jamaica, I wake up that morning and my right elbow is swollen about the size of a grapefruit.
Oh, no.
I'm sweating. I've got a fever. And so, just feeling awful. And, I end up, going home the next day. Elbow is still swollen. I'm still sick. I can't really move. And again, you go to the medical people there and they don't know. They're like, yeah, you got bit by a spider or, a scorpion or a centipede or something, whatever. But ultimately, I had to call the Bears back and go, okay, I can't work out this week because I got bit by something on my honeymoon on my right elbow, and I can't throw the football. And so needless to say, 3 times was enough for the Bears to go, who is this dude? Like, who is this joker that we're trying to give an opportunity to, and he just can't make it work? And so the Bears never called again. But a couple weeks later is when I got a call from the Rams. Went in and worked out for the Rams, and I guess, as they say, the rest is history.
Wait, so this is a sliding doors. What you uncovered in this podcast with Kurt Warner is a sliding doors moment. Because there's a world in which this is a reverse Spider-Man. Kurt Warner got bitten by a spider that enabled him to get drafted into signed by the greatest show on turf.
Yeah.
If he was a goddamn bear.
Yeah, change the complexion of the league going forward because he, in that offense, were one of the forefathers of the high-octane offenses that eventually took over the league. I still am upset that you guys played that clip, but it's fine.
You didn't want... I just wanted to now marvel at Kurt. You wanted something else?
I mean, so...
He's so handsome, first. Can we talk about that?
I'm a sucker for gray hair. White hair, gray hair, I love it. He looks great. I'm jealous of it.
Power rankings
I can't get it gray popping up here yet.
You have a little in your beard.
Yeah, that's beginner's nonsense. I need I need some little salt in there. A little salt. I think I'll be sexier with some salt.
Is Ashley in favor of this?
Ashley is not in favor of her own grays, unless my wife, and I like her grays. Let them things live. And I've been able to fend off any attacks on the grays for now, but I'm not sure how long I can do that. But the reason why I didn't appreciate that clip is because I have a co-host, Charlie Kravitz. He asked he asked that stupid ass question. Me and Kurt Warner did deep dive football analysis, and that's what I wanted to show is my deep dive. We went and broke down some of his greatest plays. We talked about current quarterbacks. We talked about the complexity of offenses and how he approaches attacking defenses and how and what coaches and players or what coaches put their quarterbacks in the best situation. We talk about development of quarterbacks. We talk about all types of deep football stuff, and you jerks want to play.
You wanted to play a part of your show that none of us would actually understand.
It ain't for you. It's for me.
Oh.
Yeah, obviously. I mean,
But I feel like this is something I think about all the time when I listen to my smart football friends, Domonique, because I don't actually understand.
I don't understand. This is another thing. I don't quite completely understand how football is so popular because it's such a complicated, complex game. Complicated is the wrong word. Complex is probably the word.
What's the difference there?
Complex seems like there are a lot of simple layers to me. And that the complexity to me means there's a lot happening. Complicated to me means that it's impossible to understand, or like it's tough to get. Football is just that it's so many things happening. If you only watched one position for a whole game, you could understand what's happening there. The reason why I consider it complex instead of complicated is you can't. It's all happening. And I was wondering, I guess, as I was talking to, or as we were talking about this, how much of football, percentage-wise, how much of football do you think you are understanding while it's happening?
It is.
Because I don't think I understand 100%.
Well, this is why it's such a great point by you. The idea that the most popular thing, right? We are in a world of insane fracturing of audience.
Right.
We cannot get people to watch the same thing anywhere, right? There are no big tents left in American life except for the NFL. And the NFL, if you really take it on the terms that its participants are expressing, it's like watching someone talk about that physics book you're reading. Yeah. It's like listening to particle physicists meditate on the nature of whether we're actually touching anything or whether those electrons and whatever
There's nothing
else.
to meditate on. We're not touching anything. I've been through this with you guys yesterday. It's called electron repulsion. You've never actually touched anything unless it's broken your skin. There's electrons in every atom. So anything that you touch, whether it's another body or whether it's a table, you are actually not touching it because the electrons in your hand.
So Michael Strahan pushed electrons onto Brett Favre.
Yeah.
So you're a virgin?
Yeah. I ain't done it yet. I've been real close out here electron soaking. Hey, download my podcast. It's called The Domonique Foxworth Show, and you can hear me and Kurt Warner, who...
Kurt Warner definitely electron soaking.
I will not have you defame my man Kurt. He was awesome.
I was going to say a couple of pro football players cutting it up.
Yeah, and this fool went. Oh, jeez.
He's a man of faith.
You take everything and you make it so dirty and about
beautiful.
Sex, and it's disgusting.
Kurt's beautiful, talented. His wife also beautiful and talented.
By the way, a couple embracing the grays.
Yeah, I love that. That's what I aspire to be with my wife at some point.
By the way, this is Jess's co-host's whole life philosophy, it seems.
Oh, get gray, get sexy?
That's true. I was, when you did mention Gray's looking good, I did think of my co-host, Mike Golick Sr., who's got a lot of, not salt and pepper anymore, just salt.
I mean, and that's what I want to get to at some point. And I think that older women who go all gray, I think it looks beautiful. Like, I find it attractive. I don't know. I think it's the effort to pretend like you're young that I think I find, or you're younger than you are, that I think I find less attractive, because when you're 55, we know you're dying, and it just
Jesus Christ,
go ahead and no, not literally dying. You're dyeing your hair.
We're all dying.
That's not what any of us thought.
I'm the oldest person here, so I didn't mean that. If anybody's close to death, it's the former football player who's 40.
Well, you're just taking off your life anyway because of football.
Hell yeah. And I mean, black men, lowest life expectancy.
Yeah. Even though we don't crack.
Yeah. Shout out to 73, baby. Goals.
If we make it.
Back to the original conversation.
How much of football do we understand?
100%. You should have had me on to talk to Kurt. Two quarterbacks cutting it up. We would have talked about scheme, development,
Some bananas.
He told us about a play in the playoff game in their run when they won the Super Bowl, a playoff game where they were playing the Buccaneers. And we were talking about the cat and mouse game of when you know what the defense is in, and then the defense knows that you know what they're in, and then the defense adjusts to what you're adjusting to, and then you adjust to that. Long story short, they threw a touchdown to Ricky Prohl when John Lynch was blitzing, all because of Kurt Warner understanding offense. And we had a conversation about he has a little get off my lawn in him, which I appreciate. It's okay.
You have a giant lawn.
Yeah, he does have a giant lawn where he really appreciates the quarterbacks. And he said it outright. I appreciate that he was conscious of his bias. Is like, I like the guys who play the way I play. It's like, I understand that. I like that. But anyway, back to the original point.
So little. So, I mean, and so the question I have for all of the smart football people is, do you guys care about, I mean, maybe you don't have to because the audience is already locked in. Demand for football is inelastic.
I guess I don't.
That's, I guess, the presumption.
I don't understand how much people love football considering how little they understand about it.
Because we don't, I'll say we broadly to speak for real Americans like myself, I don't think it's required to appreciate it. That's the beauty of it.
So what are you appreciating, I guess, is the question.
Gambling.
Violence.
I think
Violence, yes.
Yeah, violence. Yeah.
Speaking of my own experience, like I grew up watching football, and every time that I watch more football, I understand more of football. And I like and appreciate about football that there's always something new to learn because, like you said, it is very complex. And so I can feel like every time I watch something, I learn a little bit I'll never fully understand it. It's impossible to fully understand anything, but that's one of the things that keeps it exciting and interesting, in my opinion.
That's what I needed. That's the right definition.
That sounded like physics.
Explanation.
Huh? Sounded like physics.
Hey, it's Mike Ryan, and I've been outdoors more than I'd like to admit this summer. It's really hot. I've been burning through shirts. Can't go anywhere in South Florida without a backup shirt. I'm just telling you right now. But that's going to be the second best advice I give you here. The best advice I can possibly give you, it's cracking open that beautiful white can and letting the great taste of Miller Lite hit your taste buds so hard you feel it in your heart. Have yourself some Miller time, folks. Miller time. You know, the time when you and your friends can get together and enjoy the simple things in life. Why don't you let these wonderful summer moments get amplified with Miller Lite? Because when it's summertime, it tastes like Miller time. The best beer there is. I promise you, there isn't going to be a better decision that you can make this summer than just taking a sip out of that beautiful white can. Make unforgettable summer memories with Miller Lite. Get Miller Lite delivered right to your door. Visit MillerLite.com/Dan, or you can find it pretty much anywhere that sells beer. Celebrate responsibly. Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. 96 calories and 3.2 carbs per 12 ounces.
Don Le Batard.
Fans cheer that type of stuff. Tom Brady went down with an Achilles the only time he got hurt in his entire career, and I was fist pumping in my living room at home because the Jets finally had a chance to win a division. I mean, I'm sorry. I'm not going to apologize for that.
I'm sorry. I'm not going to apologize for that. Is one of the most amazing sentences you've ever uttered.
Stugotz.
From the maker of Trust Me, Don't Trust Me comes, I'm sorry, but I'm not going to apologize. You are amazing.
Thank you. I know.
You are a flabbergasting delight. You happen upon genius comedy by accident.
That's my gift.
This is the Don Le Batard Show with the Stugotz.
Domonique Foxworth still on his phone promoting his own podcast.
Old, man. It takes me forever to
I know.
post the Instagram.
The number, I mean, this is a thing that I also worry about when promoting Pablo Torre Finds Out. At Pablo Finds Out on Twitter, at Pablo Torre Finds Out on every other platform, is that it takes me a long time.
So I want to say something about that sound.
We have that back?
We got
Yes,
it back.
we got it back. And I'm going to play it every time you promote your show.
I've been here 3 weeks. on and off. And that's the first I thought I
Way
was
to go, Roy.
I thought I was
Worked twice as hard.
free of that.
Chris couldn't find it. So luckily Roy found it in one day what Chris couldn't find in 3 weeks.
Shout out, Roy.
Yeah.
But
Thank you.
There's been a major debate about this sound. Roy, can you play it one more time? What instrument is that? Because I have an instrument in hand or in mind that I think what it is, and I think it's a lute.
Yeah, I think of like
or like a harpsichord.
Yeah, I think it's a harpsichord.
I
But
thought
I
it
think
was like a
played
harp.
over a keyboard.
Yeah, one more time.
Like a wooden piano.
It feels like
kind
it's
of
being
thing.
played by a
Electric piano.
guy wearing tights with a feather and like a medieval hat.
Milady.
My lord.
So harpsichord. Is that what we're going with?
I would guess lute, honestly. I think you were right on that.
Lewis in the video room says it's the electric harpsichord.
An electric
Yeah, but we got
harpsichord.
this from ancient times, so it wouldn't have been electric. It would have been like a wooden
Well, it's
one,
updated now, so.
No, the sound was recorded over 400 years ago.
Exactly.
It sounds like it was recorded from a character in Shrek.
Is there any phrase that
Donkey?
loses historical credibility, like ancient times? Just like,
I'm trying to tell you guys about ancient times. You don't want to listen to me. I don't know.
ancient times. The reason why Chris couldn't find that sound, Tony, is because he was too busy making his fingers into Jess's Italian grandma's gestures and saying stuff like this.
Oh, it's shit.
Right on time. Here comes Amin El Hassan.
Because he's just got nothing left.
Amin.
He ran out of vowels.
Oh, it's shit.
That might have replaced Mad Dog Rousseau as my new favorite song.
That might be my text message alert now.
Oh, shit. Oh, shit.
Scusi.
Shit.
That's what it sounds like when Wile E. Coyote is being dubbed in Italian and falling into the bottom of a canyon.
Oh, it's shit.
It sounds like to me like an American police officer is undercover and some sort of like stereotypical Italian mob operation, and he blew his cover. He's holding it up the whole time, and they're like, "Oh, what part of the old country is your family from?" And then he goes,
Oh, it's shit.
"Oh, we gotta whack this guy."
It sounds like a guy on a date at a very expensive restaurant who has practiced the menu item that he's about to say, only to fold the red velvety menu closed and then say,
Oh, it's shit.
This is what the Ferrari strategy team in Formula One sounds like when the drivers are telling them they need to pit.
Oh, it's shit.
Everyone's laughing except one person.
oh.
I don't find it that humorous.
Oh, shit.
Shout out to Roy, executive producer, by the way. Just tickling those ancient times ivories.
Yeah, not my first rodeo.
Yeah, Roy. Damn.
Roy,
Thank you, Roy.
rodeo vet.
We were talking, Amin, about how much we understand about any of the sports that we watch. Football being the primary example of like most popular thing in the world.
And it's the most weird too.
Least understood by casuals despite there being so many of us.
I think that's what makes it, right? It's because people accept they don't know anything. It's a lot easier. I think that's the biggest thing that makes football accessible. It's the biggest thing that makes basketball inaccessible. And it's actually like counterintuitive, right? Basketball, barrier of entry to understanding, very low. Okay, they put the ball in that hoop.
I mean, basketball is functionally like every other sport in the world.
Yeah,
like soccer, lacrosse, basketball, field hockey, ice hockey. They're all the same game.
It's very
all inside something else.
inside the goal, right? And so for people, they're like, you watch it, like, hey, I get it. And so when you try to explain to people, like, it's a lot more complicated than you think, they don't want to hear it. Like, what are you talking about? Like, I know who's a good player. I know who's a good. Look at him. He crossed over 7 times and shot. You tell me he's not good? What are you talking about?
Real hoopers know.
I always appreciate Amin's impersonations, or those aren't impersonations. What are those
They're
called?
just voices, man.
Yeah, Amin's voices.
Oh, it's shit.
The opposite is true in football, right? Football, high barrier to entry.
Yeah.
To understanding. And so because it's so hard, people will take the word of experts, and I'm not saying that you're ever incorrect or whatever, but they're more likely to listen to someone tell them, well, this is the way it is because spider white banana. I'm like, I don't know what spider white banana is, so clearly he knows something that I don't know.
I think Jess made a good point at the end of the last segment is that the reason why a lot of people like it is because you do learn something new. You can learn something new in every game, and like the complexity allows for whatever you want to be interested in, you can become interested in.
I also think that's why it's so noticeable when you're watching a game and there's a person on TV who's very knowledgeable about it and can explain and teach something to you, like why Tony Romo was so good, especially his first season, because he was very good at breaking down what was going on. And part of the other thing that I think is difficult to know just coming in cold watching a football game is that there's so many rules, right? Yeah. And it's not just the rules about like, oh, you can't grab a player's jersey here or whatever. It's the rules about who can be in motion, right? During a snap, like how many things you're allowed to do before the ball gets snapped and how many people can be here or lined up here. Those types of things where having a person that you're watching it with that knows it makes it like a lot more fun.
There was that Wall Street Journal story, Domonique, where they did the math on when you compress all of the actual action in a football game, you actually get like maybe less than 10 minutes of actual stuff happening because, to Jess's point, so much of it is reading and parsing the letter of the law about what is actually okay to do here.
Yeah, I was made aware of this when I was around a bunch of international students. And like I stand out obviously as the one football player. So then they asked me to explain football. I grew up around football. It makes sense to me. And then I realized this is stupid. I was like, what? So there are these things called downs, guys. And you got it. But you only get 4 of them. And then you kick it. Do you get points when you kick it? No, you don't get. Well, you do get points when you kick it, but not when you punt it. You got to kick it through these things up here. So you want to do that a lot? Well,
the big H.
But you should get points when you punt it through the field goal uprights, right? Absolutely.
It's the Packers of Green Bay.
What do we do with baseball and all of this?
But like,
not talk about it.
Hey, man. Hey.
Roy, what are you coming to defense of football for, baseball for?
Because I grew up playing baseball. And that's why I'm coming to
because he's so old.
Ancient times.
And I'm old.
Ancient times.
The crazy thing about football.
That is an old sound.
The crazy thing about football is that it is all of the things about football are so uniquely anti-American, right? A lot of rules and regulations, a hard cap, so it's a pure socialist society where like all the owners get equal disbursements and all that. Like everything that you would like America hates is football, but America loves football somehow because it's complicated enough for.
I think starts by touching a guy's butt.
I think
America hates that. Yeah.
I think it's also very American, though. It's like manifest destiny essentially is what the game is, and all the labor on the field are people who are not advantaged. It's like it feels also very American.
Just like baseball is very American because they didn't let black people play for a long time.
Oh, shit.
Oh, shit. That's America's in that.
A whole bunch of Americans.
But to the point of what football feels like, it does feel, as I think George Carlin pointed this out, it feels like war, right? Like you're advancing territory, you're claiming territory, you are enacting violence. Mm-hmm. You are also, in that way, sounding like a bunch of people who are in some sort of like war room saying complicated things in code, literal code, jargon. I mean, yes.
Spider white banana, 1532 Omaha Steaks. Like, what? What are you saying? Oh, it's
That's me trying to call the play in the huddle that he learned that was super long, and he's like,
that was Johnny Manziel trying to call a play after watching 0 minutes of film. Another thing that he said.
Yeah,
time out.
He also said that he never cracked the playbook. Not once.
Yes.
Who needs a playbook?
You believe that? Like, I feel like you would die if you tried doing that in a real football game. Like, not looking at the playbook, not watching film, and then just try and go out there and playground it.
Well, you had to watch some film. They were saying that he didn't watch it on his own because they tracked it on his iPad. But you have meetings. You watch film in the meetings. You do play install. So you can actually probably enter a game without opening your playbook or watching any film.
Now, I have Johnny Manziel with the Homer Simpson glasses with the pupils drawn on in every film session, just sitting there.
I have his Pro Football Reference stats up, and he started 2 games his rookie season and threw 2 interceptions and 0 touchdowns, 175 yards.
But I feel like even being able to do that, there's some element of survivability that you have to have. right? To even be able to throw 175 yards in 2 games, to even be able to throw, interceptions.
He played 5 games, but he started 2 games.
Okay, well,
so I don't have his time splits in here, but
you get the point I'm making.
I do.
Well, what I don't get though is the jargon, right? I think there's a phenomenon, Domonique, as I listen to my smart football friends, that there is, of course, the casual audience which understands nothing about it, and then there are the experts who are like, jargon queens. They're size queens for jargon. It's like the more jargon, the more impressive it is, and it feels like inaccessibility is kind of the point. It's kind of the point.
We're all kind of impressed by people that can do something at an incredibly high level. And I think even if it is talk about football at a high level, it's pretty impressive. And the jargon isn't, I can understand most of the things that are being said. The jargon isn't impressive, but the ability to break things down and talk about things and see. So what I really enjoy is when we do have the football games where they have a separate broadcast that's like the nerd broadcast that shows the coach's angle and has coaches talking about it, because I don't see until after the game. Like we talked about this the other day. The Super Bowl was decided by motion. The Super Bowl was decided by the Eagles' inability to deal with the motion, and I didn't notice that until after the game when I watched it, and I love that so much. I can't get over it.
I personally cannot relate to using vocabulary just to prove a point.
Motion in the ocean.
I feel like I should curtsy at the end. My lord. My liege.
NFL Sunday Ticket is now on YouTube and YouTube TV, which means that it just got easier to be an NFL fan, even if you live far away. Like maybe you like the Bears, but you're hibernating in Panthers territory. But with NFL Sunday Ticket, your out-of-market team is never more than a short distance away. Specifically, the distance from you to your remote control. NFL Sunday Ticket, now on YouTube and YouTube TV. Go to youtube.com/presale to get $50 off.
Terms and embargoes apply. Offer ends 9/19. No refund. Subscription auto renews.
Don Batard.
If I'm at the house with them and they're all rooting, I could just be like, yeah, rah, rah, rah. Go Yankees.
Stugotz.
Do you know how unsettling it would be if I attended a live sporting event and someone behind me was just going, rah, 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 Browns, rah, Heat, rah, rah, rah.
This is the Don Batard Show with the Stugotz.
So we were talking about how little we understand, or some of us at least understand, about the sports we're watching. And Amin was saying that football, part of its allure is its incomprehensibility, I guess would be the word. And it made me wonder, Domonique, about a conversation that we've been having earlier this week about, we are in a time of great media chaos, right? The live rights bundle, the greatest business in the history of media, as our boss, John Skipper, put it. The cable rights bundle is certainly declining. There is a strike going on. Reality television is surging into all of these homes, as David Sampson was alluding to today with us, in replacement of scripted programming. And we're also talking about stuff that we don't understand, as we are enjoying Hard Knocks and Drive to Survive and all of the reality showifications of sports.
How awesome would it be if, instead of watching live games, that the Hard Knocks crew, they had the games in a private place and they kept everything quiet and no one knew the outcome, but the Hard Knocks crew recorded it, edited it, produced it, and then Friday night, 8 o'clock, you know what we're watching? The game. And it is just narrated through it. Like, we get the sideline conversations, we get the storylines, we get everything that you would get in Hard Knocks, because training camp is boring. Hard Knocks makes it incredible.
It's amazing. I think about it every time I watch an episode. Like, I'm not going to fool for this. I'm not going to get fooled by this. And I fall for it every time. And all of that, all of that stuff that Wall Street Journal article talked about, squeeze it down to the action. You get maybe less than 10 minutes. Imagine if you did that actually. You did that actually in the director's cut of an embargoed sporting event.
So, first and foremost, when I watch Hard Knocks, my heart sinks whenever they start playing games. Because I'm all about all the training camp stuff. And then when they start playing games, it's like, okay, let's get through this. But then the other part of it is I detest watching NFL Network and they've got the ticker underneath and it says something like, oh, Jets defeat the Browns. I'm like, Well, no, you gave it away. That's that's episode 3 of Hard Knocks. You know, when they get to the preseason game at the Hall of Fame game, like I wanted to watch that and find out through the show. In the same way that one of my favorite reality shows of the last decade, to be honest with you, was Welcome to Wrexham. Because I was so invested in learning about this team and their ups and downs and the trials and tribulations. But after the series, the team became so popular that people started following and, tweeting their scores. And I'm like, well, now you gave away season 2. I want to know if they were going to move up or not. Now I know. And so
it gets in the way. The games get in the way of the stories being grandmas. I just want to watch my stories.
So I came up with the idea of what if we didn't have any knowledge of what happened in the games. Like, it was embargoed. Everyone who was at the game has to sign an NDA.
You have fans here signing NDAs, putting their phones in those Chappelle pouches.
Mm-hmm. Yep, and not only that, the fans, the broadcasters, obviously, the players, the coaches, no one's allowed to let anyone know what happened in the game. And then you let Hollywood work its magic where they're cutting and they're splicing and they're creating these narratives, and we're getting testimonials and stuff like that, like the confessionals. It'd be perfect, man. It'd be the most entertaining TV series on.
Like Domonique said, instead of doing it Friday night at 8, what you do is you take back Sunday, like NFL has, and you just put all the games on Sunday, right? So you have like from 1 o'clock, you have every game from an hour. Boom, 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 boom. So you have 16 hours or whatever it is that you can watch.
I like spreading it out throughout the course of the week, because then you can do cliffhangers. Like, I want to know what would be the greatest football game that we could have watched would have been done better. Like, what's the one that would have been so much more interesting?
Chiefs-Bills playoff game.
Ooh, that's a good one.
That would be
good. Oh, they went back the 13 seconds. Yeah.
Seahawks Patriots.
That's the answer.
Yeah,
that's probably
that's a 2-part season finale, right? Like, and then they stop right before
previously on the Super Bowl.
It's like, hey, I'm gonna call in a throw here. Are you serious, coach? And then it's like, oh, what happens? Did they make it? Did they not make it? And then episode 2.
The last frame of that cliffhanger is a shot of Marshawn Lynch into camera.
Yep.
Reflecting, not even saying anything.
I got one. Here's the deal. Here's the deal.
Okay.
When you start episode 2, you can't just give it all away right there. So you got to do like some other stuff and
start with the Baldwin catch, where he catches that crazy pass on the sideline, and you're like, "Oh my god, I can't believe he caught that."
You flash back to training camp. Yep. To a conversation Russell Wilson and Coach Pete Carroll had it about hey, let's zig when they think we're gonna zag and all that.
I'm gonna do you one better. I'm gonna go back to Marshawn Lynch's childhood.
Yep. That's exactly it, Pablo.
I'm showing you him getting carries over and over and over and over again.
I got one. Bills Oilers. And the big comeback.
Oh,
without Jim Kelly.
So old.
Frank
God
Reich.
damn it.
Ancient times. Ancient ass times.
Go Terps. I just look forward to the confessionals with Marshawn Lynch. That'd be great. Because it's rather than him having to say, I'm only here so I don't get fined, it's like, run through a mother face.
Yeah.
Hand me the ball. Hand me the ball, because I'm a run through a Mickey Ficky's face. I feel bad. I don't want to make you edit. I'm sorry.
Mickey?
It's not me today. Don't worry about it.
Oh, you never watched, what was it?
Die Hard 2?
No, Full House. Not Full House. House Party. Not Full House. Definitely not Full House. House Party.
That's worse than his take from the other day.
No, it is not worse because he was serious. I just made a mistake.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, so you don't remember those shows when they had House Party on USA?
Oh, yeah, they dubbed over Family.
And Full Force.
Yeah.
Full Force.
Wait, you know,
I'm gonna kick your Mickey Yes.
You know what?
Mother Lover is another
Mother
one.
Lover.
Yeah. Mother Lover's great.
Monkey Lover, but they don't do that anymore. They used to do Monkey Lover a lot on TBS.
It's the sound of somebody who is trying to dub over a curse word without a curse word, but instead it sounds like this.
Oh, shit. Shit.
It didn't even work, but it's just funny to hear. I know it's a bad setup, but I still like hearing it.
You know what? In my dreams, what would have happened? Someone Italian would call in and was like, "Oh yeah, he's asking about how do we get to?"
That'd be great.
That's how you say it.
Shit.
What's missing here, though, Amin, is that you're giving hand signals, so somebody on the other side is understanding what you're doing because you're giving the hand signals. Like, I got it.
his last word.
Shit. Oh, bisogna diktoro.
Signaling in plays from the sideline. I like that.
Oh, shit. Wait, is that baseball calling for the third base coach?
There it is.
Go ahead, like. No?
YouTube.com/LeBatard.
That's the one time we're not going to play it. Okay.
Well, I got word from the video department. They have to actually edit out the word.
Oh,
at the end.
Wow.
Oh,
you can't say.
Yeah, so I have to curb.
Sugar.
Doing that now.
Damn, lived the joke that I was trying to make poorly.
Or you could play it, and then at the end I'll say taki mushroom, and then we're safe. No shit. No shiitake.
Come on.
Come on, dude.
No shiitake. No shiitake, Sherlock, is what I like to say sometimes.
Now, I'm going to give video a break on this one.
All right. I do feel like this is another reason why something edited could be better than something raw.
There you go.
Can we make this thing happen, though?
No.
I mean, there have been various, wasn't
this what Arian Foster alleged that the NFL actually is? We all everyone gets a script before the season?
Jess, you bring up a great point, though. One big problem would be gambling. Imagine the outrage around one of these climactic moments that you're betting on, only to get it revealed in a way that actually costs you, like, your house.
But, I mean, I guess the gambling industry isn't as strong around these things, but I remember people were gambling around Game of Thrones finales. People were gambling around Succession.
The Bachelor, people gamble on The Bachelor all the time?
Bets, there's a limit. You can't bet, like, a certain amount over on, because,
Because, yeah.
Well,
any reason to it, or
I mean, I think like obvious reasons. Like there's people can find out about them. Like there are actors who are in the show that I think there's restrictions on it. I'm not exactly sure.
You know what Jess sounded like there?
Oh, it's
mushroom.
Taki.
Good catch.
Much better. I thought someone was saying something, but I think it was just Roy's headset. I thought someone was talking over me. Whatever. I'll put myself in the penalty box.
Well, no, we're not doing that.
No penalty box. Even though Pablo made it clear to me yesterday that he has a tiny Dan in his head while he's doing the show.
WWDD.
And I told him, don't do that. Don't do it.
Be you.
Yeah. We're doing a great show. We do great shows, but we can't be Dan. We can't do Dan's show.
I just feel the responsibility. I feel the responsibility of Dan. What would Dan do? What would Dan do? He's actually probably listening and judging all of this.
Pablo, play your song. Do not try to be a version of a band playing a song that they are not accustomed to playing.
You mean this song?
Play that song, baby.
Pablo does like to bring in certain elements of what Dan would do, which is the bringing in a thing that was said off air right before you go on air to catch you off guard, but to start a segment.
I will say, in Pablo's defense, I have a new respect for Dan, and I'm going to be here without Pablo for part of next week in the Dan chair. And my God, is it difficult, especially this time of year, to be like producing content. So Pablo and I have been hanging out after the shows, and I feel myself like, hey, can we use this? Everything that I'm doing is like, can we use this?
Yo,
I gotta feel it. Can we use this?
Like, it's the hardest thing about this job, man. It's like the feeling that every bit of my life now is like, wait, I should write in the notes. Like, like
that's what I've been doing
this on the show.
When Domonique is mentioning these topics, like nervously, should we do this? I'm like actually in my phone, like writing down, like we should do. What was it today? We didn't even get to the thing that I had today.
This is turning Pablo into a maniac. And so last night, when we were thinking of things to do, it's like, let's watch the Manziel documentary. And neither of us were like super excited about it. Like, get a couple segments out of it, though. It's taking over our lives. Poor Dan.
Yeah, that's let's see what I got here.
I just got a mean. I was talking to Nameen's headset, and he was going to say something. I messed him up. It's
Pablo,
on me.
You should be really upset about it right now, and then kick Amin out. That's
right.
what Dan would do.
I mean, all just the poop jokes. I mean, all you got is poop jokes. I need smarter.
They're not
younger
jokes.
and smarter.
That's the part that I hate the most about Dan. Like, Dan, they're not jokes. They're like, where were you? I was like, I had to like, what? I had to go poop. Like, oh, you talk about like you asked me. You kept pressing.
Graffitiing the church of football.
Shiitake mushrooms.
We're doing a good show, guys.